Hey everybody, how's it going? B Temple here again, coming at you with a little bit of a different kind of a ration review today. We're going to call this one the history of American ration snacks. I guess is probably the best way of putting it. Just like to start off by saying that all of these items were acquired through a trade with none other than Steve, 1989. Steve's a great guy. We did a great trade and sort of got all of the stuff that we see here. We've got items ranging from as late as 1168, so Vietnam War era, and the peanut butter is from around the same era, on up to items that you might find in LRPs or MCWs as recent as 5 years ago. So some of the date codes on some of these items as we go through may be a little hard to sort of pick out. The packaging would show it's from a certain time range, but if the dates are two, really not 100% sure if it's from 2002 or 2012. I guess we'll see by the state of the item itself how good it actually is. It smells good, tastes good, looks good, that sort of thing. So yeah, I think just try to change things up a little bit. Thought I'd just run through this sort of smorgasbord of random snacks, sides, that sort of thing. The thing I'm most interested in getting into is this B unit and this peanut butter. Eating something from the Vietnam War era is going to be kind of interesting and a little scary. Although from all the reviews I've seen, the peanut butter should actually be in pretty good shape. From someone who enjoys history as much as I do. I grew up, especially as a teenager, I think I read every book that you could possibly read about the Vietnam War, so the chance to actually try something out from that era is it's kind of crazy. I can't believe I've got that chance. In order to open these things, I don't actually have a P38, the standard sort of little can opener that you would normally have for that, but in its place I do have the Fred, which is the Australian sort of can opener. They don't have a whole lot of canned items anymore, but their cheese they still put in their rations today, and their CR1Ms and other rations still comes in a can, so you still need a can opener of some kind. So we'll use that for these. And also just going to use a couple different sort of spoons. We got ourselves a MCI spoon and a standard US MRE spoon. So yeah, let's just take a little circle, I guess, around the table, around the tray, let you guys see what we have here. So first of all, of course, like I said, got ourselves a B1A unit, which should be crackers and some sort of chocolate. So we'll see 100% if that's actually what that ends up being. We also have ourselves our fortified peanut butter, which should be good. We've got ourselves an oatmeal cookie bar in a brown package with a date code of, you can barely pick that out, 1184. So there's a good chance that that is from 1991. Then we got ourselves a granola bar, which looks like it probably came from a survival ration, and the date code on that is 0344, so it's a good chance that's probably either 2000 or 2010, I guess. It's a little hard to sort of pinpoint exactly. We got ourselves a cocoa beverage powder in this sort of gold kind of paper pack, which this would be from an MCI as well, from possibly the Vietnam War era, could be from the 70s as well, but it's from one of the MCI canned rations. We've got ourselves starch jelly candy, which should be Chuckles, which I've never had before. We've never seen them in stores here. It's more of an American thing. So it's going to be interesting to sort of crack those open. Date code 2082, so that's either 2002 or 2012, although I have seen long-range patrol rations from 2012 that have these. So it's a good chance these are 2012. But then we'll be able to see the best before date or manufacturing date on the actual commercial packaging inside once we get to it. Then we got ourselves just something to go along with, crackers, whatever, some blackberry jam with a date code of, it's a little hard to pick out, but 6 253, so either 2006, I'm going to assume it's 2006. The lettering on this is a little lighter than it is in more modern MREs, so 2006. Then we got ourselves a chocolate fudge bar. That would have come in the original brown bag MREs from the 80s and early 90s. So I'm not 100% sure what the age of this is. It smells somewhat okay, so that's a good sign at least. These can go bad pretty quickly, and I guess I'll know right away with the first bite. Then we've got a very exciting sort of item, which I'm very happy to finally have. We've got ourselves a freeze-dried fruit mix with a date code of 1057. So that's either, I'm going to assume 1991. That's what I'm going to assume. Then we got ourselves a pack of apple cider mix. The white packaging would denote that this is from an old-fashioned RCW, or Ration cold weather. And the date code on this is down here, 1213, so 213th day of 1991. So this is going to be interesting. I've had from 1996 this apple cider mix, and it's fantastic. We've got ourselves a packet of brown bag MRE crackers, date code of 1021. So I'm going to assume that's 1991 as well. Then we got ourselves a shortbread bar, very similar to the granola bar in its packaging, and it's got a date code of 1007. So I'm going to assume either, I guess, 2001 or 2011. We'll see how good it is. Then one of the jewels of US MREs, got ourselves a cookie, chocolate covered. And the date code on this is 0360. So 1990, I guess. Could possibly be 2000, but I'm going to assume it's from 1990. A couple other interesting items. This one especially, a freeze-dried ice cream sandwich, cookies and cream. So that's going to be a little interesting. It's a little beat up. It's freeze-dried ice cream, so it's going to be somewhat sort of like styrofoam. It's really, really crumbly, but hopefully there'll be a few sort of salvageable chunks in there to really see how it's supposed to look. And the date code on this one is 2061. And I know that these came in both MCWs and LRPs, so meal cold weathers and long range patrol rations. It's in the tan packaging, so it might sort of lean more towards saying that it's a long range patrol item, and it's probably from 2012, could be 2002, but we'll see. And lastly, two other items. We got ourselves a fig bar, 2081. So once again, this could be from an MRE or an LRP or an MCW, possibly 2012. And lastly, another drink mix to go along with our apple cider and our cocoa beverage. We got ourselves an old-fashioned brown bag grape drink mix with a date code that looks like a 0176. You can't really pick that up. But yeah, so it's probably 1990. So, got a lot of stuff here. Let's start opening up what we can, get the drinks ready, and then we're going to have a look at all of it. So first we'll just get some of these bars open. They come in the very vacuum sealed kind of packaging. Got ourselves a compressed granola bar here. That was a nice hiss on that. That's a good sign. I've had these in RCWs. Some of them have been good. Some of them have not been good. They've been rancid. So we'll see how this one goes. So that's our granola bar. Get a look at it. Very compressed. You can certainly see that it's of the granola variety, not cornflake, not, shortbread, something like that. It's very easy to tell that's granola. Now, we'll try out our brown bag oatmeal cereal bar. This one does not want to open. It's delaminated a little bit. I'm going to have to get a pair of scissors or something. Here we go. oatmeal cookie bar. It's a little darker than the granola, but that's to be expected. It's a lot older, so we'll see what the difference is. Let's open up our starch jelly candy. Interested to see that, oh yes, this is indeed Chuckles. I have never had Chuckles before, so this is going to be pretty cool. See this? We got a red, yellow, purple, orange, and green. So I assume cherry, lemon, grape, orange, and lime, most likely. And we've got ourselves a Best By date of 2/7/13. So yeah, this date code here would denote that this was probably a 2012 manufacture. So yeah, that's gonna be fun trying that one out. Let's open up our fruit mix next. See if I can find a tear notch on here, but there doesn't actually seem to be a tear notch on it anywhere. There we go. That didn't work out very well. Let's try it from this side. Aha. Now, I was hoping this was going to sort of break apart into one piece, but that will not be the case. That's seen better days, but as you can see, this is literally just freeze-dried, compressed fruit. You know, pears, peaches, cherries, that sort of thing. Then let's just open up our chocolate fudge bar. Color variation is a little weird. It's very soft to the touch. Let's just give it a little smell to see if it's possibly gone sour. Yeah, that's yeah, not 100% sure what to say about that one. It might be good, it might not be. We'll find out. Next, let's open up our brown bag MRE crackers. It's a good hiss on those. That's a good sign. These are in perfect shape, even compared to modern day crackers. They don't appear to be salted, but you know, they look just as good as any sort of modern, fresh MRE cracker, so that should be interesting. And let's get our shortbread bar opened up. There's a whole lot of crumbs around here everywhere. That's just the nature of all of this stuff. A little bit of a hiss on that one, but not too much. But the vacuum seal appears to be fairly solid, so shouldn't be a problem. Now I don't know if it's supposed to look like that, but I guess we'll see. It's got some sort of dark parts to it. Smells fine. Smells nice and buttery. But I don't know if it's supposed to have that sort of darkish kind of look to it. Then we've got ourselves our chocolate bar, or cookie bar, I mean, chocolate covered. That is in pretty good shape. Not perfect, but the chocolate hasn't bloomed too much. So yeah, that should be pretty good. What we got left? We'll just leave our blackberry jam there for when the time comes. Let's open up our fig bars. These have seen better days, but they're basically just a little bit larger version of a fig Newton. They are certainly falling apart. And what we have left, well, we've got just our drink mixes, our B-unit and peanut butter, and our ice cream sandwich. Now let's try to get this open and see if it doesn't make just an awful state everywhere. As it sounds like inside it's nothing but pieces. So, interesting enough, it's actually inside of a wax paper kind of package. So a few sort of powdery bits inside. And then we've actually got literally, a freeze-dried ice cream sandwich inside. So yeah, some of those pieces are a little bit identifiable. You know, looks like it used to be an ice cream sandwich at one point. So lastly, before I open up the B-unit cans, I'm going to just get the 3 drink mixes started. And yeah, we'll come back in a second. Okay, everybody, got the things cleaned up a little bit more, and got our glasses and all that kind of stuff. So first, let's mix up our brown bag MRE grape drink. Beverage base powder. Grape. Feels fine. It's a little tiny bit of sort of larger crystals inside, but it's not like one big mass. So that shouldn't be too big of a problem. Look inside. It's a little, it's like maybe a little bit of moisture's gotten to it at some point, but it certainly smells like grape. And a good sort of grape smell. I mean, it's obviously, of course, an artificial grape, but it doesn't smell as artificial, I suppose, as more modern grape beverage mixes would be in rations, so it's not that big of a deal. This one actually looks like grape. It doesn't have that weird kind of blue tinge to it like the brand new ones do. So this one actually looks like a grape mix, you know, instead of some sort of blue raspberry thing. So it's good. Seems to be dissolving well. It's a lovely smell coming off it. So I've got high hopes for this one. Lay that one there. Next, let's get our cocoa beverage powder mixed up. I'm going to do this one cold, which is the way I usually like my beverage powder. That could end up being a problem, but I guess we'll see. So yeah, that looks perfectly fine, even though this cocoa powder could be, you know, from the Vietnam War era, certainly from an MCI. And yeah, it It does not smell good. But we'll mix it up anyway, just for the sake of the video. Use our MCI spoon to stir it. Yeah, that doesn't want to stir very well, or mix very well. I mean, we'll go back to that in a while. Maybe let what's there reconstitute a little bit better, and then give it another shot. Let's see. I guess we'll just do our apple cider last, and then we'll open up our B unit cans. So remember, this is an RCW, Ration Cold Weather, apple cider mix. Feels much like the grape mix, where it's powderous, but it's still got a few little sort of crystal chunks in there, but nothing horrible, I don't think. Some of these don't want to open very easily. So yeah, that looks perfectly fine. Pour up our water. Give it a stir with our MRE spoon. Still got a little bit of sediment in there, so we'll give that a stir again before it actually comes time to eat and drink everything. So we'll open up our chuckles. Still officially have them open. So as you can see, they look nice and bright and vibrant. Red, yellow, purple, orange, green. Should be good. Let's tear the corner off of our blackberry jam when the time comes to actually need it. It smells like regular old blackberry jam. And lastly, the main part, I guess, the part I'm most excited about, would be opening up our B unit and our peanut butter. So we're going to try our peanut butter first. I will say right now that I have never used one of these style of can openers to open up a can, ever, in my entire life. So this could fail horribly, we'll see, but let's try this out. A little bit of oil separation. Now let's see if we can pop the top on that and see how our peanut butter is looking. Needs a few more cuts. So there we have it. Peanut butter from the possibly the Vietnam War era. It's a little oily, of course. There's been some fat separation along the way. So yeah, I'll just get another little spoon. Something. Actually, I can use this, I suppose, to stir it around a little bit. Like any sort of peanut butter, it's been left sitting for a while, you're going to get a layer of oil on top, and then sort of the drier peanut butter on the bottom. So let's just try to mix this back in amongst itself again. But I'll tell you, it smells perfect. And it looks perfect. It looks like any sort of standard creamy peanut butter. Just needs a little bit of mixing. Getting some metal filings in there with that. Hold on, I'm gonna have to clean that off. Okay, we got that cleared up. So let's get our B1 unit open now. It says open at other end, so we'll follow the directions. And we'll try out our Fred on this can opener. Some may say, well, you know, you're not doing it right. You should be using a P38. I thought that since Australia played a somewhat moderately significant role in the Vietnam War, it felt at least somewhat contextually relevant to use a Australian ration can opener to open up at least a Vietnam War era American ration. So it at least relevant. Now, no hiss. Okay, that went a little better once you finally got the a rhythm going. As you can see, the inside of this can looks like it's in perfect shape. We got ourselves some just sort of corrugated thin cardboard type paper. And we have 4 what appear to be heavily salted crackers. And they've taken on the smell, I guess, of what is also in the can. So that may be a problem. Because we also have a coconut chocolate disc. It's a little hard to read. But that does say coconut. And from other rations I've seen from this era that have a coconut disc in it, this is most likely going to be absolutely horrible. It's not going to be good to eat at all. But we'll open it up and have a look. It's also a bad sign when the plastic wants to stay stuck to it, so that's not a very good thing. As you can see, the inside of this can looks pretty good. Maybe a little bit of tarnishing down there around that inside ring, maybe where the plastic was stuck on. I mean the packaging for the coconut disc. But yeah, this is what our coconut disc looks like from 1968, November of 1968. Let's crack it open just to see what the center looks like. Yeah, I don't think coconut's supposed to look like that, but oh wow, yeah, that's pungent. That almost actually has a fermented alcohol kind of smell to it. That's not a good sign. So yeah. All right, let's start digging into this stuff. First of all, let's try out maybe some of our compressed bars. So this one, if we remember correctly, was the oatmeal compressed bar. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's really lost its flavor, actually. There's not much flavor of anything on it. I'm a little bit surprised by that. It doesn't appear to have gone rancid. Although I am starting to get a little bit of a weird aftertaste in my mouth. But yeah, it's not great, but it's not horrible either. I guess it's the best way to describe it. Next, let's try the granola bar. You can see this one seems a lot more hearty. Once again, it's not perfect, but that one tastes a lot better than the oatmeal. This one here, the granola, has a nice hint of, like, I guess maybe cinnamon, nutmeg, that kind of thing. It's a little bit sugary, a little bit buttery on top of it. So yeah, it's not that bad. Once again, a little bit of a weird aftertaste, but nothing entirely off-putting, I guess is the best way to put it. let's maybe cleanse the palate a little bit. Let's try our brown bag grape drink. Oh yeah, that's fantastic. I'm a huge fan of grape beverage powder. I don't particularly enjoy the newer blue colored ones, but whenever you could possibly get a actual older style grape beverage powder from older MREs, they were always fantastic. So yeah, that's great. I'm really happy about that. I guess we'll try the shortbread one next. This one I remember looked a little strange. I don't know if it's supposed to have that sort of dark coloring to it, but it smells incredibly buttery and rich, so I'll be interested to see how that translates. Wow, that's amazing. Growing up, I always loved shortbread. Anything as simple as, you know, Walker's shortbread from Scotland, or homemade shortbread, anything like that. That tastes amazing. No weird aftertaste, just really buttery and sweet. I mean, really, true shortbread's not supposed to have that many ingredients. You know, flour, salt, butter, sugar. That's all it's technically supposed to be. I'm sure there's other things in this than those 4 ingredients, but that tastes like really good, almost homemade shortbread. So I'm rather surprised by that. What else are we going to try? Let's give our fig bar a try, or at least what's left of some of our fig bar. And that's perfect. That tastes just like any sort of standard store-bought fig Newton. So that's good to see that at least held up, you know. Let's go by one of our wonderful standard lovable ration snacks, the cookie chocolate covered. I've never actually had one of these before, so it's going to be interesting to see what it's like. Let's just snap it in half. As you can see, the cross section, everything looks fine inside. Chocolate's a little bit dry looking. Doesn't have quite the same sheen that some of the other ones I've seen, but let's give it a taste. When that was 100% fresh, I can imagine that was just absolutely fantastic. It's not perfect is the best way I would put it. The chocolate, I think, is just starting to sort of go off a little bit, but obviously it was wrapped in its brown wrapping. Came from a brown bag MRE that could possibly be, I don't know, 25 years old. Who knows? But it's actually not that bad. There's no sort of weird aftertaste. Just the chocolate does taste a little tiny bit off, I guess is the best way to put it. So yeah. Next, let's just try out some of our brown bag crackers, I guess. First of all, let's snap it apart. Try a piece on its own and see how it sort of stacks up with modern MRE crackers. Now, much like a saltine, they suck every bit of moisture that's in your mouth out completely, but those are fine. I mean, once again, those crackers could be 25, 30 years old, and they seem perfectly fine. There's no salt on them. Probably could use a little tiny bit of salt. We'll see what the difference is with these sort of ones, but let's just cleanse the palate again now and try our RCW apple cider mix. It's not as sweet as I remember it. Maybe over time its flavor's been a little subdued, I guess is the way to put it. But it's still nice. It doesn't have a strong apple flavor anymore. You're not really getting that sort of little bit of a hint of like spice and cinnamon like you probably would from a more fresh one. But it doesn't taste bad, so that's the best way to put it. Just it's lost, I think, a lot of its flavor over time. So what do we have left? We've got our B unit stuff from the Vietnam Warrior. We've got our ice cream cookie sandwich, our fudge from a brown bag MRE, and of course our freeze-dried fruit mix. Let's try out a piece of our freeze-dried ice cream sandwich, cookies and cream flavor. Oh, that's really, really tasty. That is fantastic. Some people probably might not like the texture of it. Maybe if you're someone who's really sort of sensitive to certain textures, you might not enjoy eating that. But yeah, that tastes amazing. It's just the perfect cookies and cream kind of flavor. If you're someone who likes cookies and cream ice cream itself, it literally tastes like you're eating dry cookies and cream ice cream. And the top sort of cookie part tastes just, you know, the same as any sort of standard ice cream sandwich. So this is a great treat. I wish this sort of showed up more often. Moving on with our sweet stuff, let's try some of these chuckles. Let's give a little bite of each one. I think this one's probably going to be the one I'm going to enjoy the least. I'm not a huge fan of cherry flavor. It's sort of grown on me more over time. But let's try the cherry one first. Perfectly fresh. It's a fairly prevalent cherry flavor. Actually, I'm quite surprised. They're not that old, and they've been in a package. But I mean, these chuckles were packaged in 2012, so it's, you know, been at least 5 years. Let's try the lemon one. It's a nice tart lemon kind of flavor. I do enjoy these kind of sugar jelly type candies. So some people probably would hate opening up a ration and finding the pack of chuckles. This really isn't that big of a deal to me. Let's try the grape one now. Oh, that's disappointing. That is not grape. That is licorice. And I'm not a big lover of licorice, so that's a little disappointing. Let's try the orange one now. Hopefully it'll drown out the licorice taste I've got left in my mouth. Oh, it's fantastic. Great orange flavor. And lastly, what I'm going to assume is lime, although it could be sour apple, but I'm going to hope it's lime. And that's the best of all 5. The lime is just a perfect, I know it's of course artificial lime flavor, but I actually enjoy that sort of standard artificial lime candy kind of flavor. So that goes really well. Let's try our freeze-dried fruit mix. This is something I've always been interested in trying. I've seen it in several sort of reviews, and I always thought, like, yeah, I like this kind of stuff. I'm going to assume it's going to be somewhat similar in consistency and texture to this ice cream sandwich. But yeah, let's try out this freeze-dried fruit mix. It's immediately very sweet. It begins to dissolve right away once you put it in your mouth and you give it even on the first chew. It's not quite as crispy, I guess is the word to use, as the ice cream sandwich. Of course, this is older, so that could be the reason behind it. But it literally tastes like you're eating fruit cocktail that's been dried up. You know, you can add water to that if you want, but I think I sort of prefer eating it as if it's some sort of like a sweet snack instead of sort of adding water. I'll just eat it as is. Oh yeah, that's wonderful. Let's just cleanse the palate again. That grape drink is amazing. I wish I had more of that. So we got a fudge bar left. Let's try out some blackberry jam, actually, on our brown bag MRE cracker. It's a little bit watery. Have to watch out for that. Wow. Of all things that I thought might taste bad out of this whole collection, I didn't expect the blackberry jam to taste bad, but wow, that tastes horrible. That does not go well with those crackers. And the crackers themselves taste fine. So, yeah, for some reason, that blackberry jam has not stood the test of time at all. Speaking of not standing the test of time, I doubt very highly this is going to be particularly edible. Let's break it apart. Remember, this is a fudge bar from an early brown bag MRE. It doesn't smell particularly good. Let's give just a little tiny taste of it. Wow, that's horrible. Oh my god. Yeah, most people say these don't last, and this is no exception. That didn't last at all. Oh god, not getting any sort of numbness or sort of cotton mouth kind of feeling in my mouth, but just a horribly rancid flavor. I mean, once again, it's hard to tell exactly how old that thing is, but it is older than it should be, I guess is the words to use. I'm not gonna go back and try that one again. So trying to hopefully go to something that might be good. Let's dig into some food which is almost 50 years old. It will be turning 49 years old next year. So it's kind of crazy, actually. Someone would have said to me a couple of years ago that I'd be eating some crackers that were issued during the Vietnam War. I would have laughed. But yeah, let's give this a try on its own. The coconut disc really, really ruined these crackers. All I'm getting is that sort of strange, really weird, rancid aftertaste, which is very akin to the taste I got from the chocolate fudge. There's really no need of this, but for the sake of the review, let's at least try a little tiny piece. of our coconut disc. Oh, that is absolutely horrible. Oh my, yeah, I couldn't even swallow that. That's just beyond foul. That's the only way to describe that. Oh my god. So yeah, the crackers, I don't even feel like going back to try those either, because that horrible rancid flavor from that coconut disc has completely sort of permeated those crackers. I almost wish there would have just been something simple like a foil wrapped chocolate disc or something, but you know, you roll the dice on these sort of things sometimes. So the last thing we have left to try now is our cocoa powder, which, if everything else that's around that era is any indication, it's probably not drinkable. And we got our 1968 peanut butter, or I assume it's from 68. It's from around the same era. So let's just try it with our brown bag MRE crackers. We at least know these are good, so let's give some of our peanut butter a try. Some people might think I'm somewhat insane for trying peanut butter that could be almost 50 years old, but it looks perfectly fine. It smells perfectly fine. So the last test is the taste test. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. It holds up to the reputation it gets. It's actually still a little too dense to sort of run the cracker through it. But yeah, that's perfect. It tastes just like any sort of regular, everyday store-bought peanut butter. All right, let's give our cocoa powder another final stir. Yeah, that looks horribly unappetizing, and it smells even worse. But let's just give it one little sip, just to say I tried it. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, so that's at least some consolation, I guess. But let's use a little something of this just to sort of wipe that taste away. Oh, that's better. Yeah, that didn't survive very well as well. If anyone sort of remembers from my last video, my 1983 LRP video, the cocoa beverage powder in that did not last at all. It was horribly rancid. This actually tastes a little tiny bit better than that. Still not great, but at least, you know, tasted somewhat better. I don't know what it would taste like if I had used hot water instead. Maybe by using cold water, I'm sort of muting the flavor a little tiny bit, so I maybe sort of dodged a bullet on this one by mixing it with cold. But, you know, that's it. I'm not going to go back and try any more of that. So, guys, this has been sort of a historical look through a variation of United States ration snacks and sides. Things dating all the way from the Vietnam War era up to, you know, the somewhat modern era, I guess. These things, of course, are only, you know, 5 years ago, that sort of thing. You know, a collection of drink mixes, things from the 80s and 90s and 70s, possibly. Yeah, some stuff like this and that. And the chuckles, some other things, fruit mix, perfect. Crackers, perfect. Ice cream sandwich, perfect. The drink mixes, these two, perfect. And then on the other side, you have things like the coconut disc and the fudge bar, and the crackers, and the cocoa mix, and oddly enough, the blackberry jam, which are horrible. So, you know, this is the kind of thing that happens when you review food that's this old, and, you know, you have no idea of what its sort of packaging situation's been, you know, where it's been stored over time, how many hands it's actually gone through before it's gotten to you, that sort of thing. So I just want to once again thank Steve 1989 for hooking me up with this through a trade. This has been great. Still got some other stuff as well from items from the trade to try out. But you know, for the most part, this has been highly enjoyable. The other part, you know, I'm just glad I don't feel sick right now. Hopefully I don't feel worse later. But usually these kind of things, when they taste that horrible right away, you know, you're not going to be foolish enough to actually swallow it, because nobody needs to get food poisoning. So, yeah, be interested to see now what sort of ration I'm planning on doing next. Maybe I'll get away from this sort of old vintage kind of thing and move back into something a little bit more modern. A few options I'm sort of running through my head. Maybe a Swedish 24-hour meals ration, or possibly something, like an Australian CR1M or a Russian EMRCOM ration, United Nations combat ration. A whole pile of sort of options to choose from. Latvia, Estonia. But we'll be coming back to you guys as quick as I can. And yeah, thanks a lot for stopping by. Have a good one.